Hi everybody, Steve Griffiths here, developer of the MTPredictor software program. I don't normally do two videos on 2 days back to back like this, but I thought it was important to follow up on how the USE minis unfolded yesterday, particularly in yesterday's video when I was looking at how they unfolded for Monday the 4th. I was outlining how they were a very hard day, and if you remember, I was looking at particularly the YM and having a look and saying, well, actually we were thinking that the larger degree trend was down and we would have had some losing trades, and it would have been a very hard day based on using the DPs on the higher time frame, and basically the market didn't go as anticipated. And to remember, I was talking about the cyclical nature of trading and how that reverses. Well, I want to now look at what happened the very next day, and I think this is important to show. So if I go to the YM on a 15-minute chart, these are my DPs that I had on for yesterday. You can see if I put the session breaks on, you can see that they've caught the highs and lows very nicely earlier. But what I want to particularly show was yesterday's low. Remember, the 4th of November, which was this day here, we were anticipating that DP was nailing the high and the market was going to go down. It was going to go down into potentially the DP of this prior pivot here, but the market just drifted down a bit, then rallied a bit throughout the day. So that's why it was such a hard day. But look what unfolded yesterday. Remember, these DPs are on the chart in advance before the market even got there. So before yesterday opened, this DP would have been down here as potential support waiting for the market, and look what it did. It went down, caught this DP absolutely perfectly before rallying strongly. So I just think this is very important to follow up on, that even though when you have a hard day, the market can then reverse very quickly and suddenly give you a very good day the next day. So let's see how you could have traded this. Well, the target of this 15-minute DP low would have been the DP of the opposing pivot, which would have been this one here. So the target would have been up here. So let's now go down to a 3-minute chart and see how someone could have potentially traded that. Well, here's the 15-minute DP on the 3-minute chart, nailing the low of the day absolutely perfectly. So if you had taken a risk reward trade off here with your target up to there, that was a potential 5.1R. Now the market didn't get there. If you'd held long all day, you would have been stopped out on the close for potentially 3R. But what I want to look at is the ES particularly as it unfolded at about 12.21, which was this high volume VSA spike. You can see we had the market rallying strongly here, then failing to follow forward or follow on. So if I quickly go to the ES at this exact same time, which was here, which was the 12.21 bar, if I right mouse click, put the Elliott waves on, you can see that the market actually rallied and a 5-wave sequence. Here's our high volume VSA bar. So this in technical terms would have been a blow off top. In other words, the market rallying quickly up into our typical wave 5 WPT. The very next bar failing to follow on. That would seem to suggest that the rally has run out of steam and therefore is likely to correct. In our teaching webinars, we teach that once a wave 5 high is complete, the market normally retraces back to the DP of the prior wave 4. So I go down to the wave 4, right mouse click, put the decision point on. Remember, decision points are on the chart in advance waiting for you, and look what happened. The market, in this case the ES, declined for the rest of the day, a bit choppy to start with, but it caught up late in the day, went down and tagged that low absolutely perfectly. So there was an opportunity on the ES to do a short trade around this wave 5 high, with then the market coming down into the DP target for a potential 3R profit. So there was a very nice trade there on the ES with this unfolding exactly as we teach. But what I wanted to do was to come back and look at the YM, because we know the ES is the boss, it's the one that leads. So when you had this high volume spike on the ES at 12.21 going into a wave 5 high, you knew that the market was odds on going to correct and then retrace down. So if you were long on the ES at this particular time, sorry, not the ES, the YM at this particular time, and you anticipated the market was going to go up to this DP up here, what I'd suggest is just start to trail you'll stop just below this bar low here, which is the 1224, which is the bar after the 1221 high volume spike. In this way, this would allow you to have caught a nice, or locked in a nice 3.9 hour profit. And looking back on this, this would have mean you'd been long from the very bar of the low of the day to take profit pretty close to the high of the day. So a very, very good result indeed. So I just wanted to follow up on this video just to show you that even though after a hard day, and we may think that the larger degree DPs are not working and our large degree trend is hard, the very next day suddenly our DPs work absolutely brilliantly, and look at that, our 15-minute DP nailing the very low of the day that then allowed us to catch a very nice trade off the low. So I just think it's important just to show how the cyclical nature of trading works, and our job on days when it's hard, as I said in yesterday's video, is just to keep the losses small and under control, or at the very least break even if you can, but the main point is keeping the losses small. So suddenly when the cycle comes round again and you get some beautiful setups like this, you can then make the most of it, and as such have some large profitable trades. The whole idea of trading is to trade and make the most of good setups when everything is clean. In other words, when you have a clear picture, that is the best time to do some trading. And that's why here on the YM, nailing this low was perfectly clear. Look at that, catching that low beautifully. And also that 5-wave sequence on the ES going up into the high was really crystal clear, and a lovely setup as well. So for the more advanced traders with using MTPredictor, yesterday would have been a good day.